Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Asagao Academy.
Cheese Academy.
It's not Asiago Academy.
It's the Cheese Academy.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
I promise you it's not.
Don't care. It is in my world.
All right. So this is what, third take at this?
Third take.
And
in my contract with this, if we go to the fourth take, I quit.
Oh. Wait, so you're saying I should knock the mic over again?
Can I be like Calculon where I only do one take?
Well, you're already on 3 now. So yeah, first we had an issue where it wasn't recording any video. It was just the menu screen, even though we were playing the game. So whatever that was about. And then we had a very technical issue with the mic. Very technical. It'd be difficult to explain.
The mic fell out of the holder. And I laughed really hard.
Like I said, difficult technical problems. Anyway, so here we are back at Asagao Academy.
Jeez, Academy.
And so we met Gerard.
Later.
I'll see you later, Hana. It was really great spending time with you. Just like that, he was gone. I put the paper in my bag, chuckling softly to myself, then paused. I had to check. We were in front of the supply closet the whole time, and I'd fought the urge to open the door after Gerard closed it. Now I was going to see who was in there.
Dun dun dun.
Darkness. The light was off this time. I slid my hand across the wall, looking for the switch, and flipped it. There was no one in the closet. I froze, still as the paints and construction paper that lined the walls. He wasn't in here, and this was the only exit. Or is it? I'm already onto this.
Trapdoor.
I closed the door, blinked hard, and walked straight back to my dorm room.
Forget about it. Just forget about it.
Ignoring that last incident, Gerard truly went out of his way to show he was thinking about me. In fact, I got the impression he was this way for everyone, maybe even everything. He was very thorough. He was thorough, very thorough, and when he wanted to help you, he did everything in his power to do so. Maybe it hadn't meant that much to him, but it meant a lot to me. I returned to the dorm and crawled into bed with a smile on my face, ready to take on the next day. This time I knew I wouldn't get lost.
Famous last words. I have to point out this is my second time seeing this, and this is still funny.
It's still funny. Mai and I arrived at Poppy Hall the next morning, and it immediately became clear. Something had changed.
What is it?
Posters drenched in nausea-inducing neon colors were plastered on the lockers. Several students gathered to take a look.
Oh, my gosh.
We walked over to one of the walls to get a better look.
Is that Jared?
When Mai didn't respond, I turned to look at her. The expression on her face told me that her mind wandered somewhere that would have made a call girl blush.
My, you're drooling.
That seemed to jolt her out of her fantasy. She lifted a sleeve to wipe away the drivel on her chin.
I'm totally not. What are these posters for? Well, like, last year, Jared put on a fashion show. It's like he's doing it again this year. I didn't know Jared was into fashion.
Mai shrugged.
He's totally not.
I waited for some type of clarification.
He's so cute.
One time in biology, I saw him take off his sweater and his shirt kind of got stuck to it and he pulled up and I swear he had like 20 abs.
I waited in vain.
Good morning.
Hello, ladies. Oh no. Mai and I whipped around. There stood Jared in all his glittering, magnificent glory. Mai's face turned a blushing pink. The most beautiful guy in school. I see you're admiring my totally sweet posters.
Yeah. They're really something, Jared. I like your abs.
With sudden, soul-crushing realization of what she said, her expression twisted into a mixture of horror and disgust. Jared was unfazed.
Hana?
Thanks, but Hana, it was actually you I wanted to speak to. Why would he want to speak to me?
Oh, yeah. Okay, what's up?
Jared looked expectantly at Mai. She didn't move. Realizing she was in trouble, I nudged her with my elbow as subtly as I could.
Hey.
Maya, would you go get me a soda? I'm really thirsty.
Without a word, Mai scuttled away. Jared turned back to me, a cool glint in his eye. He seemed used to the effect he had on women. I wanted to talk to you about the fashion show, actually. You're new here and all, so you probably don't know, but every year I like to put on a little fashion show to showcase my modeling skills.
What?
Wait, what?
You know, just to make sure people don't forget what I'm capable of. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a stack of glossy photos, and thrust them into my hands. I stared down at them in awe.
It's gotta be the most unflattering pictures ever.
I flipped through them, starting to notice a pattern.
Is that his blue steel?
That's blue steel. That is definitely blue steel. As you can tell, my beauty is something that simply can't go to waste. I like to hold a fashion show here at Asagao Academy to ensure everyone gets their yearly dose of Pro Jared. I flipped to the last photo. Heat shot up my neck and into my ears. Surely this was some kind of joke. I shoved the stack of photos back at him, wiping my sweaty palms against my skirt.
What does this have to do with me?
That might have been a touch rude. Jared, as smooth as ever, simply smiled. I think you have potential, Hana. He suddenly leaned in close to me, so close in fact I could smell his cologne, a musky sweet aroma of earthy scents and ham?
Potential for what exactly?
Jared shifted, his mouth so close to my ear I could feel its heat. For greatness. I am so sad that that line isn't voice acted, because I would love to have heard it. He reached into his shirt pocket and retrieved a small slip of paper. With quivering hands, I accepted it.
All right.
My card. My number's on the bottom. If you're interested, I could teach you a thing or two about modeling. I stared down at the card in my hand, feeling that if I looked away, it would disappear. By the time I gathered the courage to face him again, Jared was gone. Feeling quite dizzy, I headed for class, the business card strangled to death in my white-knuckled hand. By the time I got through the milling students and to the classroom, I was sitting at her desk, face down and completely still. I took my seat and twisted around to poke the dejected Mai-shaped heap. She didn't budge.
Hey.
My.
I heard a muffled groan of despair.
I can't believe this.
I'm like such a social disaster. No, you're not.
I tried to sound comforting, but I was never good at this sort of thing. Mai finally lifted her head from her desk.
What's like that?
She motioned to the business card that was still in my hand. I set it in front of her. Mai appraised it for a long minute with a blank face, as if I set a rare artifact in front of her that she didn't actually believe was real. Then her eyebrows pulled together.
He gave you his number? Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, not really. He said I could call him if I want him to teach me how to model like him.
It was embarrassing to even say, and the words felt awkward in my mouth. The moment I said them out loud, I wish I could grab them back and swallow them. I expected Mai to give me a once-over before making an off-the-cuff comment about how I wasn't nearly pretty enough to be a model. But she didn't.
Yeah.
He, like, totally wants to get with you.
Her tone was so matter-of-fact, I gaped.
What?
What? No, he doesn't. Why would you say that?
Bingo.
Okay, like, Hana, I've taken enough sex ed classes to know when a guy fully wants you. And Jared, like, fully wants you.
I like that it's fully wants. Mortified, I snatched the business card back off her desk and shoved it into my jacket pocket, turning away. My cheeks felt like they were on fire. By now, the classroom was filled with students. They chattered amongst themselves, but the white noise of their conversations wasn't loud enough to drown my out. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see John and PBG seated at their desks at the back of the classroom.
I'm like talking serious grabby hands in the back of his dad's Camaro here. You're going to like make babies with Pro Jared, Hannah. Whoa, this escalated quick. Like little glittering Jared babies. No, I'm not. You're totally crazy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Miss Shizuko, like some kind of angel, cleared her throat at the front of the class. I exhaled gratefully and sunk down into my seat. When class finally ended, Mai and I headed for the cafeteria, the incident forgotten in our hurried attempt to explain Miss Shizuka's scandalous last relationship.
What a jerk!
Like, seriously, he spent all this time trying to choose between her and some dead chick who only liked him because he looked like her ex-boyfriend.
Wait, the dead chick liked him because...
The dead chick only liked him because he looked like her ex-boyfriend. Right, this is like Young and the Restless version, man.
But she's dead.
But she's dead, and he's hung up on her, so he couldn't date Miss Shizuka.
That makes sense. As much as any of it does.
I totally mean, like, who does that?
We got our food and hesitated in the middle of the room, looking at the normal boots table. Neither of us wanted to go up and demand a seat, especially after wiggling our way in the day before. What if they changed their minds? But Satch, noticing us, stands like lost lambs in the middle of the room, waved us over.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, how was class?
Oh, you know, normal?
Boots. Had to be done. Satch nodded and turned away, having been in the middle of talking to Josh. That was awkward. Despite how familiarly he treated me, I still didn't know how to talk to him. Or any of them. I looked across the table and locked eyes with PBG, who stared at me like I was a baby German shepherd. You...
All right.
Cookies!
What?
Oh, sick.
You brought cookies! You're the best, Gerard! Paul sprang out of his chair and practically tackled Gerard. Whoa! Calm down, there's more than enough cookies to go around. Gerard started passing the cookies around the table, but paused. You're back again. He looked at Mai and me. I tried to ignore the disappointment on his face. Well, here. He handed us each a cookie, then headed back across the cafeteria. I stared at the small chocolate chips melting in the warm cookie. Did he not want us here? But he was so nice yesterday.
Conflicting teenage boys and their crazy emotions. Dragging around equally emotional teenage girls.
That's high school.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't even want to eat the cookie. Not if he was going to be as two-faced as that. Hey! Watch where you're walking next time! A sheepish Gerard stood next to a short, skinny boy who was holding his tray above his head. I'm sorry, I'll be more careful. Oh, you're from Normal Boots. Wait, you're the guy who plays with itty-bitty kitties, aren't you? The boy sneered. How the hell did you manage to get in a group like that? They're my friends. Playing with those stupid dolls. You're an embarrassment. The kid's friends were hitting his shoulders, looking from Gerard to our table with panicked eyes.
I like what I like.
I think they're fun. Whatever. The kid was let off by his friends. Gerard came back and sat down at the table. That was weird. Gerard sat down and began happily munching on his cookie, looking for all the world like he didn't even care about what just happened. I scanned the cafeteria for the boy who heckled him and found him sitting alone at a table, head in his hands. His friends left him behind.
What was that about?
Oh, that. I used to get it all the time. I collect itty bitty kitty figurines, you know, the kids show with the 5 kittens who live in Kitten Town. They were originally supposed to have magic powers, but whatever. I collect their figurines. They're so cute. I've almost got them all. I'm only missing Princess Pumpernickel. She's the rarest.
But why was that guy making fun of you? Doesn't it bother you?
I was afraid of bringing up bad feelings, but Gerard just shook his head. It looks kind of weird, right? A teenage boy collecting toys meant for little girls. But I like them, so I don't let it bother me.
You go, Gerard.
Sorry I didn't bring enough cookies the first time, Hana. I forgot you were joining us again, but I'm glad you're here. I bit my lip. See, Hana, he was being nice the whole time, and here you were jumping to conclusions. Hey, your cookie will get cold if you don't eat it. I unwrapped the cookie. Scents of chocolate and cinnamon hit me. I broke off a piece and popped it into my mouth. Gerard whispered something into Nick's ear, who started laughing so hard milk came out of his nose. Was he really okay with people making fun of him? I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it. At my old school, people made fun of me every day. It was hell. There was no way he could just brush it off like that. Not when I tried so hard to do the same. But as I finished the cookie and started on my ramen, and Gerard continued to laugh with the rest of the normal boots, I wondered whether it was as impossible as I always thought. Hana, can you pass me some pepper?
I totally got it. Here, Jared.
Thanks. What's your name again?
Oh, it's Mai.
Nice.
Thanks, Mai.
Hana.
Well, Hana, ready to head back? Huh? Oh, yeah.
Did Mai look sad, or did I imagine it? We threw our trays on the racks and headed out of the cafeteria. As we waved to normal boots and Gerard cheerily waved back, a sudden pang hit my stomach. Was it guilt? After class ended that day, Mai said she had volleyball practice and sped off. Thankfully, this time I knew where I was going, so I headed straight back and collapsed on my bed. It was nice to have some time to myself after everything that happened. I felt like I was going crazy. I could use some relaxation. I didn't have a computer or a TV, and the book Satch gave me was really good, but sometimes got a bit hard to read. Instead, I took out my phone and started flipping through the App Store. Nothing really looked good. Wait, what was this? I sat up. Dumbo Revenge? Face off against 3 other players as you catch monsters, raise them, and use their unique skills to aid you on your puzzle-solving quest. Only you can save the metaworld from its ignorant king and utter destruction. Now a single-player campaign! Raise crops to feed your monsters. If you're lucky, they'll transform into cute girls.
What? Okay.
It's video games, it makes sense.
What the hell?
It looked so stupid, but it couldn't hurt to give it a try. I downloaded and started up the game. Welcome to Dumbo Revenge. I skipped the intro sequence and quickly hit single player. Loading. The load times were terrible. Suddenly, a cartoonish hilly valley met my eyes, panning over to a white castle nestled next to a cliff. A lazy king lay asleep on a throne when a squat silver soldier ran into the room. King Dumbo, quickly, we're under attack! Oh, just send the 1st Battalion off, please. I'm rather tired. The knight left, and the screen faded to a world map showing a horde of black blobs on the right side of the screen. A small group of knights ran up against the blobs and were instantly devoured. One of the black blobs spit out a helmet with a skull inside.
That's great.
Actually, no, I kind of want to play this game.
What the hell is this game?
Things continued in this way, with the king sending off his battalions haphazardly until no one was left. Then the king awoke in his chair and turned to the screen. You!
Me?
Only you can save my kingdom. Please! Is he gonna send us off to our deaths?
Pretty much. I don't think I can save your kingdom. You're the one menacing it.
How dare you! Wait, did it actually respond?
Yeah.
What the hell? Could this thing hear me? You are no longer my advisor. Go back to your home village and let me deal with this myself. A tiny sprite with brown hair flew across the world map, bouncing into a bunch of red houses. I guess my only choice is to raise an army of monsters myself, overthrow the king, and then raise an army to fight the oncoming bloopity bloops.
How the hell did you come to that conclusion?
Again, it's video games, you don't question it. It just makes sense. Finally, I was allowed to play the actual game.
Pretty much like video games.
Yeah. A dozen multicolored blocks appeared on the screen. The monsters I was initially given could only hit their corresponding colors and couldn't activate any traps. Supposedly, more monsters could eventually learn how to set traps, and you could do certain combos to hinder the opposing team. If you had an attractive girl on your team, she could use an ability to double the rate of your opponent's blocks or have their clock time.
So the bigger the boobs, the better your ability to kill your opponents. That's what I'm assuming they mean by attractive.
I would guess. But why would they have less clock time? Is it because they spent the other half, like, not being productive?
Pretty much.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But that had a drawback for you, too, and could be used as an asset by the opponent? That doesn't make... Not to mention that certain color combinations between girls and monsters activated unique secret abilities, and you could also evolve your monsters and feed them things.
How the heck am I supposed to remember all of this?
I failed the first few times, but quickly got the hang of it. It was just about being adaptable and maintaining a flexible strategy after all. My eyes started to hurt and I looked at the time. Hey, the clock, it had been 4 hours. I had reading to do. I grabbed my textbook, flicked my radio on, and began to read. There have been many tales of times when the moon has fallen on other planets. The most popular of these being the myth of Termina. However, these myths have never proven to be more than a hallucination. My eyes blurred over my astronomy textbook and I yawned. The Schubert piece floating from my radio made me want to go to sleep, and I toyed with the idea of going to class without finishing my reading. Who cared how many times the moon was supposed to fall, especially when time travel was involved?
Hana!
Mai burst through the door, flung herself across the room, and grabbed my radio.
Hey.
Hey, where have you been? What are you doing? Like, give me a second. We're missing it. There we go.
But I swear, that dog was the living worst. That's why you need a bird, like my lovely jocks.
Watch your tongue. What is this? Shh.
Hey.
So the time has come to make an official announcement. This year, just like every other year, the Normal Boots Club will be participating in the video game tournament.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Yay! As PBG applauded as though he were a crowd of 30 people, I shot a puzzled glance at Mai. I hope you guys will support us again this year, and best of luck to our competitors. You guys are going down! And now for some music.
Fantastic.
Mai turned down the radio and sighed.
Like, okay, what did you want? What was that? PB&J. It's PB and John's radio show. Like, didn't you know this? They have a radio show? What do they do on it? Oh, you know, they talk and like stuff and play music sometimes.
You know, radio stuff.
Like, everyone in school totally listens to it. I'm so glad you brought your radio. I forgot mine at home.
Hate when that happens.
And a video game tournament? Yeah, like, didn't you hear them talking about it the other day? No?
Come to think of it, I hadn't paid much attention to their conversations. I was too busy worrying about myself.
Like, every year they have a game tournament down at Higibana Mall. Lots of people come to compete, but everybody knows the real fight is between the Normal Boots Club and the Hidden Block Club. Is that what they do? Video game tournaments? Yeah, that's why nobody's ever joined them since their inception.
Wow.
Well, like, I guess partly they're a group of friends who just happen to make a club together, but also, unless you're really talented, you'll just drag them down. Ouch. Like, not all of them are so harsh, but some of them, well...
I glanced away, but I felt like I knew who she was talking about.
That's too bad.
The conversation I had before with Jimmy and Caddy came to mind. Had they really thought I was joining the Normal Boots Club? There's no way. I hadn't played a video game since I was a kid. My father gave me a 4DS when I left home. But
Nice.
What, it wasn't Super Pretendo?
Oh.
Or the Peep Station?
Peep SP.
Peep SP. The night before I left home for Asagao, my dad came to visit me in my room. I had packed the few things I owned into a briefcase and a single cardboard box set to be shipped with the train. I sat and stared at the box, somewhat bitter. I barely even needed it. I didn't own much. Hana?
Yeah, Dad?
My father stood in front of me, a weary smile on his face. Even though he tried to hide it, I could see by the deep wrinkles around his eyes and forehead that he was tired. Sad. The past few years had taken their toll on him, and I hadn't eased things. You'll be leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
A heavy silence hung between us, filling my childhood bedroom like styrofoam. Are you excited?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
He nodded and glanced around my room at the pale blue walls, the broken clock above my old desk, the scuff marks around the doorframe from where I ran into it as a kid. I lived in this house almost my whole life, ever since moving after kindergarten. It was everything I knew, but now it was too much for me. The decision to transfer to Asagao didn't come lightly. First, it was a prestigious institution with a highly prized reputation. Only the best of the best, touting either great grades, impressive talent, or lots of money could get in. I was none of those things, but I made it in regardless. Part of me suspected I was a charity case. I received a small scholarship, and it would no doubt look good for the academy to have fostered a poverty-stricken child in its walls. And despite the fact that my father couldn't afford it even with the scholarship, he guaranteed he'd support me if I went. I looked again at the wrinkles in his face, at his sagging shoulders. He pressed his hands against his body to hide the way they shook. All for me. He'd be all alone. I'm glad you're going. I think this will be good for you.
Yeah.
I wish I could say something else, but nothing came. Well, honey, just in case you get homesick, I bought a present for you.
A present?
From his packet, my dad produced a shining pink Nintendo 4DS.
Nice.
And placed it into my hands. For you.
But... why? How? Dad, this costs so much. You're already killing yourself to let me go. Why would you?
Tears spilled from my eyes as my dad smiled. Nothing is too good for you, my dear Hana. His voice was trembling. You're my pride and joy. You deserve so much better than you've gotten from me.
Dad?
Go to Asagao. Have fun. Make a lot of friends. And when you get homesick, you play with that. I'll make do. I stood up and hugged him, burying my face in his scratchy sweater and oatmeal smell.
I'll miss you.
I'll miss you, my little Hana.
Aw.
But the thing is, he forgot to give me a cartridge to play with. Wah wah.
Aw. But at least she has it.
Now I glanced at the machine hidden behind my desk lamp. Mai watched me carefully.
Like, well, you never know what could happen. What do you mean?
Mai giggled.
Nothing at all. But I just got back, so I've got some work to do. Work, right.
PBG and I still had that project due, and we hadn't met to discuss it at all. He said that he had it under control, but I should probably make a backup plan, just in case. It wasn't that I didn't trust him, it was just that... okay, I didn't trust him. Sighing, I worked a kink out of my shoulders, and looked like it would be a long night. And to me, that seems like a great place to leave it.
With creepy people knocking on our door.
With creepy people knocking at the door. Who could it be? You'll just have to tune in next time and find out.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, do please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.